All right, so today we're diving into a tool that's trying to fix one of the biggest pains in the neck for any performer, learning your lines. It's called Imparato, and the whole idea is that it's like having a personal rehearsal partner right in your pocket. You've probably wondered this yourself, right? You're watching a movie or a play, and you see an actor just rattling off pages and pages of dialogue. How on earth do they do it? It looks effortless, almost like magic. But behind the scenes, it's often this huge, lonely, and frankly, tedious job. And this gets to the heart of what's called the actor's dilemma. You get handed a script, and now you have to somehow make all those words on the page feel like your own. But how are you supposed to practice your part before you ever even get into a room with your scene partners? And this wasn't just some abstract problem. The person who created Imparato, an actor named Damien, said this himself. For 15 years, he kept running into the same wall, the same frustration, and it was that personal struggle that finally sparked the idea for a solution. Think about it. For years, you really only had two ways to go about this, and neither was great. You could rope in a very, very patient friend to run lines with you, but then you're stuck trying to match up schedules and you're probably testing the limits of their friendship. Or you go it alone. But then you're just rehearsing in a void. You don't get your cues, and you can't get the back and forth rhythm of a real conversation. So, what if there was a third way? What if you could get that interactive feeling of a rehearsal partner, but with the total freedom to practice whenever and wherever you want? Well, this is where technology steps in, and that's where Imparato comes in. At its core, it's an app for your phone and computer that becomes your virtual scene partner. It uses AI voices to read every single part in the script, except yours. It gives you your cues, pauses for you to say your line, and then continues on just like a real person would. So the big idea here, the real promise, is all about freedom. You can rehearse on the subway, during your lunch break, at 3 a.m. if you want to. And because you're actually hearing the other character's lines, your own lines have context. This not only speeds up memorization, it also helps you build up real confidence before you even walk into that first group rehearsal. Okay, so how does this actually work? How do you get your script from a stack of paper into the app so you can start practicing? Well, it turns out to be shockingly simple. It's literally just 4 steps. First, you upload your script as a PDF or just copy-paste the text. The app's AI then does this cool thing where it scans the whole script, automatically figures out who all the characters are, and gives each one a unique voice. After that, you just tap to tell it which character you're playing. And that's it. You hit play and it starts rehearsing with you. And you're not just locked into one speed. You actually get to choose how you rehearse. There's an automatic mode where it'll play the next line after a few seconds, which is great for when you want to practice your timing and the flow of the scene. But when you're just starting out and need more time, you can switch to manual mode. It'll just wait for you, and you swipe whenever you're ready for the next cue. Okay, so that's the basics. But where this app gets really powerful is in the details, the features that help you dig in and truly master the material. You know how frustrating it is when you're working with a huge script, right? Trying to flip through pages to find that one scene? Well, here you can instantly jump to any act or scene, or even a specific line number. You can search the whole script for a word. And, my favorite, you can create your own custom bookmarks for those really tricky scenes you know you need to run over and over again. And the app's own tutorial calls this bookmarking feature practical and powerful. And honestly, they're not wrong. You just press and hold on any line to save that spot. You could even name it something like Big Monologue or Tough Scene with Bob, so you can get right back to it in one tap. Now, what about making notes? For your character's motivation or blocking? The app gives you 2 different ways to do this. You can add a private note just for your eyes by long pressing a line, but if you want to add a stage direction or a note that the whole cast needs to see, you can edit the script on your computer. This adds what's called a didascali, which is just a fancy word for a shared note that syncs up for everyone. And the editing goes even deeper. You can actually tweak lines right there in the script. But check this out. There's a super clever feature for those lines that everyone says at once. You can actually format it so that multiple AI voices will speak the line in unison. Pretty cool. So, it's pretty clear this is a game changer for solo practice. But what happens when you bring the rest of the cast into the picture? That's when things get even more interesting. It all happens through a feature they call troops. Think of it like a shared digital workspace for your entire production. The director can create a troupe, invite all the actors, and upload the script. Then they assign the roles. From that moment on, everyone is working from the exact same version. Any changes, any shared notes, it all syncs automatically for the whole team. And we're not talking about some obscure app here. Over 30,000 people are using Imparato. And that number includes some really big names in French theater and film, like Michel Larocque and François Berliand. It just goes to show that this is a serious tool being used at the highest professional levels. And get this, on top of your own scripts, the app comes with this huge built-in library of more than 450 classic plays. We're talking Molière, Feydeau, all the greats. They're just sitting there, completely free, ready for you to rehearse whenever you want. But maybe the most fascinating thing about this tool is all the surprising ways people are using it. Things the creators probably never even imagined. Students are turning their class notes into scripts to prep for oral exams. Business people are using it to rehearse huge keynote speeches. And it's even being used in healthcare by speech therapists helping patients with things like stuttering, diction, or even memory recovery after a stroke. So, when you put it all together, what's the real impact? Well, this one App Store review really nails it. It says, the app allows you to get the text anchored faster. And that's the key, isn't it? The point isn't just to memorize words. It's to get them locked in so you can stop worrying about your lines and start doing the real work of an actor, building a character. And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? We've seen this tool used for acting, for public speaking, for education, even for medical therapy. It really makes you wonder, is this kind of interactive AI-powered practice the future of how we learn, well, anything?